Howdy, it's Matt again. I'm wanting to make another video. It's been too long. It's been like a week or something. I've been dealing with some health issues that have had me a bit indisposed. Some nasty eczema stuff. It's almost healed. Pretty much all the way healed. It's still kind of nasty. But it's not that bad. It's getting better. So anyhow, that's one of the reasons, but I've also just been slacking. Sorry. Do I have my hat with me left? No. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we were actually out and about just doing Bond family business. It's our Saturday, and so we're enjoying the day and hanging out. And you can hear the noise in the background, and we're shooting aliens and stuff, and it's awesome. It's fun times. Oh, shooting troops, yep. Bill's a Hero Factory warrior. But anyhow, I wanted to talk to you all today about integrity. And the Lord's been teaching me a lot about integrity lately, not from the typical angle of like, you know, some extension of moral character, as cool as moral character is. Oops, hit a little bump. And so, hey Joel, I need you guys to be a little quiet, okay? I'm doing a video now, okay? And so, integrity means being whole. Like, you know, he's been teaching me about like the integrity of a ship. If a ship is in good integrity, it means it's in one piece. It's not fragmented. There's not pieces falling off everywhere, but it means that that ship is in good shape. And so yeah, the Lord's been bringing me to a spot of integrity, and what he's been doing in that is like integrity is the opposite of brokenness. Okay, and so I'm not so much talking about the guilt-laden thing that usually is associated with talk of integrity in churches, about how like integrity is usually talked about like, you know, like, oh, because you don't cheat on your taxes, your integrity. That's not exactly true, because there's tons of people who don't cheat on their taxes, and they're incredibly broken people, and they're not actually in integrity. They're not integrous people. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not good people, but I'm not. So I just wanted to make clear that I'm not talking about that thing. I'm not talking about the moral character thing of integrity. I'm talking about wholeness, that kind of integrity. And so, you know, and so what the Lord's been doing is He's been breaking down a bunch of religious nonsense, and He's been taking my life, and He's been like. He's been helping me to teaching me what it's like to have one life. Like, there's not the life that I have outside the church and the life that I have at home, where I'm a little more mean. Like, I let myself be a little more mean at home. You know, I might use language at home I don't use when I'm in a church building, or, you know, or maybe, you know, or stuff like that. Or like, or then when you're, you know, within your church, like, you know, you're just Captain Holiness, you know, Captain Perfection. But then when you're at home, you cuss when you stub your toe, and you're really, really mean to your wife and kids. You know, like that's a lack of integrity, meaning it's a lack of oneness in your person. You know, you're not whole. You've got a division in your life where you're able to act. You're making it okay for you to act one way in one place, but then you act a completely different way in different places. And so that's kind of what the Lord's been talking about with regard to integrity. And so I wanted to encourage you all to seek integrity now. What that looks like is it looks like wholeness. It looks like the Lord taking all the broken parts in our lives and then merging them together and healing the division and making us one person. That we're whole. That doesn't mean we don't have good and bad days, but that is to say that we're one person. We don't have like, you know, I mean, I've met some people like, you know, as long as if you're talking kingdom stuff, they act one way. You talk business stuff, they turn into a completely different person. Like, that's a lack of integrity right now to me. That tells me that there's like two different persons in that person's head right there, and that's not helpful. You know what I'm saying? That's not really, you know, or the person who's like all smiles and jelly beans and cupcakes and stuff at church, but then they get home and they're really, really, really mean to their kids and to their wives and other things like that. You know, and so that's a demonstration of a lack of the integrity I'm talking about here. Whereas so what it looks like to really live integrity, that means it makes the religious spiritual thing, and makes that look a little messier, because see, now you come into the presence of the Lord with everything that you have and everything that you are. It's not like there's a division between those two things, right? So living in integrity, it means that, like, you know, if I'm hanging out with I just almost saw a car accident. That was awesome. Anyway, so you know, so what it looks like for me is like when I'm in the church house, that might look a little more messy, because, you know, I'm not going to put on the religious mask for anybody and for anything. I'm just not ever going to do that, because that's not the whole. That's not me walking in wholeness. For me, that's me trying to put on a facade or a mask to appease some religious facade that's just a waste of time and it's completely worthless and it's a lie. So I'm never going to do that. See, but now walking in integrity looks like, are you angry today? Okay, well, maybe you should talk to your friend about that. Maybe you should just be real about that. Maybe you should be open about that and not be fake about it and act like everything's fine when it's not. And actually, if you're hurting, if you're in pain, then maybe you should deal with the pain. Maybe you should come and you're a whole person who's really hurting. Don't cut that thing off, stuff it, and then walk into the church and put on the mask. That's not helping anybody. That's not helping you. And what that's doing is that's just, everybody can see that you're being artificial, dude. You're not fooling anybody. You're not tricking anybody, dude. Everybody can see the facade. Everybody can see it. You might trick some people, but man, most people know when you're putting on a mask. And to be honest with you, that's why a lot of folk don't like going to church. I'm reminded of this one time. It was a season of my life a number of years ago, and I was a leader in the ministry on some level. I was a worship leader, musician, and I had gone through a surgery, and the medicines had started to mess with my emotions really, really bad, to where I was dealing with a lot of suicidal thoughts and severe depression, and it was not fun at all. It was really, really bad. And I remember I went to church, and I was walking to the thing, and someone's like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" I'm like, "I've been thinking about jumping off a water tower for a week. I'm really not okay. I'm not doing all right now. And like, I just remember this particular woman I encountered. She's like, it was reality overload, and like, she just kind of like acted like I didn't say anything and walked off. And I'm like, well, that's not really helpful. How are we going to expect to be a place that, as a church, to actually deal with people's problems and actually help them walk through their stuff if we can't even be real among ourselves? And so anyway, so that walking in integrity, it puts us in a position to be able to actually answer those questions. And, and to offer a real system. What does it look like to actually really live real life in the faith, and not just offer ways to have cool meetings once or twice a week? And so I think that walking in integrity thing, the whole thing, what I want to introduce to you is the idea that integrity is walking in wholeness, and what that means is, it means, we bring, it bridges that gap between the religious facade and then reality, to where we're actually like, we are the real us all the time. There is no facades, there is no fake. There's just reality. If I'm super happy, I'm going to act like I'm super freaking happy, because I am super happy. It's living life from the inside. That's the integrity part. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're all cupcakes and unicorns all the time. That means that you're whole and that you're consistent from the inside out. And so like that's one thing that, wow, that was awesome. Driving against traffic. Awesome drivers. Awesome.
I think that person was in the wrong lane.
Awesome drivers. Gotta love that. Anyway, whatevs. But and my wife's driving this time. It's not me. Good news. But say hi, Erica. Say hello.
Hi.
She's awesome. I love her. My favorite person on the whole planet, right there. My favorite living human being on the earth, right there. I'm such a blessed man. Anyway, so there's integrity for you. So yeah, it's like so walking in integrity is actually being the same person from the inside out. There's no division. There's no masking what's happening. But the thing is, though, in order to have, what we need to do as a church is we need to really strive to provide a safe place for people to walk in integrity. Because what we've done in times past is, anytime we've ever seen anything that's not all magical with unicorns and happy and peaches and cream, we just cast it out from our midst, and then we say, we, instead of dealing with it, we just kind of ignore it and act like it's not going to change. It'll just go away. But what happens is, then the only people we have in our midst left are the religious, perfect people. That's also a lie, because then most of the time, those people then go home and act crazy, and their crap comes out at some point. It will always come out. And so anyway, so the encouraging thing is this: let's start living from the inside out. Let's start asking the Lord for safe places, for safe relationships, to where we can, actually be ourselves. So we could actually, because this is the thing: God created you as you are, because you are a freaking good idea. Sorry, I've been trying not to say freaking. I repent, or whatever. Sorry. I'm working on that. That really is something I'm working on. Anyway, so let's just. Let's strive and really work towards creating a safe place to where people can be themselves around us, and to where we can be ourselves around other people. Because this is the deal. The gift that you are to the world is who you really are. Not who you want to be, not who you think you are, not who you think you should be, but who you really are. That's God's gift to this world, is you. who you really are, as you really are. And so let's start contending for wholeness, and in doing so, let's create safe places on this earth to where people can come and discover who they are in God, and who God is in them, and who Jesus is through us by our love for one another, right? So anyway, past the 10-minute mark. I love you very much. We'll talk soon. Feel free to comment and share. If you like what I'm saying, feel free to push that little subscribe button down there. If you're on Facebook, feel free to share this if it's been a blessing to you. Like it, comment on it. If you have questions, comments, please comment. It helps. I like the discussion. It's edifying and a blessing. So I love you all.
Mwah.